Okay, so welcome to the ones who've come for the first time today, and welcome again to the ones who joined the second time. So it's great that what you've shared is what you want to take away from this course, or what you're expecting, with some thoughts. So that's great. So what we'll be learning in this course, it is specifically called as Raja Yoga. And Raja Yoga, it basically is a form of meditation. And it's a specific form of meditation where we call it as a yoga for the mind, or yoga of the mind, where we'll be directly understanding how the mind works and how we can have a total well-being of the self and well-being of the body. And so that'll be what we'll be learning in terms of, we can say meditation, but really underneath the meditation is a lot of understanding. Because when you really understand, then it's a way of life, because your thinking changes, your perspective changes, what you want to, and then how you do things, what you do, everything changes, isn't it? The way if what you think changes. And so understanding is very key. And so in Raj Yoga meditation, we will be talking about the self. And in fact, when you say Raja, it means the king, isn't it? Yoga means union, connection, and Raja means the king, master. And so how to be the master of the self. But today we see that our mind is all over the place. Can we say that? Can we say that our mind is exactly where I want it to be, and how I want it to behave, and exactly how I want it to feel? Not really, right? But Raj Yoga is about that. It's about understanding how the mind works, how I can get it to think the things that I want to think, the thing that I want, how I want to feel, right? And so for that, we get to understand many, many aspects of the self, which unfortunately we don't learn in school. So for quite some period of the time of our lives, we've kind of managed with our environment, with the teachings that we have from our parents, from our peers, from our colleagues, and from our friends and family, kind of managed. But when we're really out in that world in this age, when in especially in your kind of an age where I'm seeing more young ones, so I'm sharing that, but I'm sure it's the same for everybody, to handle things, to manage things. And so this is why this study, it's an education. So this is why this is called as a Brahma Kumari's World Spiritual University. So it's an education that we will get, education about the self, education about the supreme, education about the world, education about karma. It's education, because when you say education, then there's understanding, and many, many things changes because of that. Okay. So the first aspect itself is when we're talking about understanding who I am. Because Raj Yoga is about, the first step is about connecting with the self, understanding, or even just the first step of knowing, understanding even comes later, and knowing who I am truly. We talked about this in the last session, about how identity crisis is sort of perhaps the worst crisis that we have today, right? Amongst all the other crises. When we say identity, of understanding, of knowing who I really am, is a crisis. Because if everything I do, everything I interact, my whole life is based on who I think I am, isn't it? So who do I think I am? Who do I know I am? And most often we hold on to things that we have either been told or what we have acquired through our lifetime as who we are. Hmm? So last session we talked about name, um, our qualifications, family, where we live, which country we are from, perhaps even the religion. So all of these aspects we see as something who we are. Correct? Anything else? No, we see ourselves as this body, definitely, the gender, and everything that we see in the mirror when we see the first thing in the morning. This is who I am. So much height, so much weight, the gender, the body. And then apart from this, all the things that we have acquired till this moment, um, we feel or we think that is who we are. But if I really ask this question, then I understand that I am, when I say this I, all these things change, right? Anything is the same or can change. Either has changed already or can change, right? So I cannot be any of these things because they keep changing. So then who am I? So it's this very deep question to ask yourself as to who am I, and ask for a moment and see what comes in front of you when you think of yourself. Who am I? Hmm? And so here, the understanding spiritually is about two aspects, human being. And so human is this physical body, and being is the light, the one that is making this body move. And there are two aspects in this. When you say human being, there are two elements, and we just simply say we are human beings, right? So if you say I am a human being, but even within that human being, there are two elements, human and being. So this body is a human body, and the being is the light or the energy, the life force that's moving this body. Because we know that this body is made up of the five elements, and we know that this body is perishable. Yes, agreed? So it's either burnt or buried, but it goes back to dust. So now the question, am I the human body, or am I the being that is making this body move? Which one would you say? Hmm. Two aspects. But if I ask the same question in a different way, you'll answer immediately. A car and a driver example, right? Now, if I ask you, are you the car or are you the driver? What would you say? I mean, what a question to ask, isn't it? What would you say? You're the driver, isn't it? You're not going to say you're the car, definitely. But it's the same thing we've just forgotten. This body is the car, and I, the being of light, the soul, am the driver. But because I cannot see myself, and the soul cannot be seen, the spirit, the being, the soul, the light, you can say whatever name, cannot be seen with these eyes, we just say that we are this body. Because, nowadays we are at an age where seeing is believing. And so we just say, this is who I am. Okay? Think about it. But am I really that? Hmm? So it's clear, no? When you say about the car and the driver, you are the driver. So in the same way, when we talk about the body and the soul or the spirit or light, which one am I? Which is me? The human body or the soul? Which one am I? Hmm? The soul, right? So really this aspect of understanding who I am, being, changes my entire identity, right? Just think about it. All this while I'm thinking I'm this body and everything that's connected with this body. It is true in a way of the role that I'm playing, but that is not really me. Hmm? But our whole life, our whole everything that I do revolves around this body, and I've forgotten myself, the soul, the being, the light. Hmm? And so now, with this understanding that I am actually the being of light, and it's not so weird to think, oh, is it like that? Because we are unconsciously conscious of who we are. Hmm? We just don't know, and we're not paying attention, and we're forgotten. Not don't know, I would say we're forgotten. But we know that we are souls in a way. You know, when you say my, I, and mine, you know, we say my body, isn't it? We say my head, my hand. We don't say I hand. We don't say I the body. We say my. So who is it who's saying my? And think about it. For some time when we are in you know in the train or going somewhere, many times often we're not always listening, we're not always seeing, isn't it? We sometimes able to hear things and sometimes we're not able to hear things, which means that my ears are just instruments that I, the soul, the being of light, who uses the ears to listen, who uses the eyes to see. Hmm? Make sense? Is it kind of sitting with you? I'm only able to see three or four faces here, but I'm hoping the rest who are not on the video are also able to understand. Yeah. Thank you for coming on the video. Otherwise, you're just saying the names. But yes, is that making sense? Hmm? The kind of understanding that who's a car and who's a driver. Yeah. So, really to think about it, I'm this life force, the light, the being. So there was a point in time when I came into the womb of my mother, no, into the little body. And there will be a time when I will leave this body and go. So whilst I'm in this body, for me to have that consciousness, okay, this is who I am, the light, the being, and not this body. So what happens because of this understanding? What difference does it make? Adit, you want to share? Because you've done this last week, and I hope you had some, at least maybe remembered it a few times during the week. Hmm? You want to share what difference you think it makes?
Can you repeat the question, please?
What difference does it make to know that I'm the soul and not the body?
With the example that you said, the soul is the driver and the body is the car, and the body is the physical being and the soul is energy.
Mm.
And I wanted to mention this, and I'm not sure if it's the correct time, but when you set that homework activity for us last week, to see ourselves in the mirror, to see ourselves at the soul and speak to us. I found it difficult because I still looked at myself as the body. But when I saw other people as the soul, when I looked at their forehead and just saw them as the soul, I could see a kind of a difference, and I could just sense the soul is energy.
Yeah. So thank you for that. So as we start to practice and start to really experience it for ourselves, very huge difference. Because so far I'm just saying, I'm this model of the car, I'm black, I'm white, or I'm this, or I'm that, or I'm that. And if something changes, because it's going to change all the time. It's not permanent. It's going to keep changing. This body is getting older, or, things change. Even every day things change. And it's not me anyway. And the more I come out of this and start to really be in the identity of who I really am, I will start to have control. So far, my control is not there because I'm thinking I am those things which change and keep changing. And because of that, I don't have control, and I can't be a master. I cannot be the king over the self. But now, understanding that I am the soul, I'm the light, the driver wakes up, and I'm able to sit and manage the controls, and actually take my life into the direction I want to take, the thoughts that I want to think, the feelings I want to feel. So it's hugely important to start to understand who I am. And most importantly, we're thinking of thoughts, right? We're going to do this session more a bit later, but who is this? Who is this energy who's generating the thoughts? It's not the body. Is it the body? Where did we learn, in which science, that who generates the thoughts? Who creates thoughts? Who? Nobody. We never heard of that. We just thought about brain generating electrical signals, but not thoughts. So who is it that is who's creating, who's generating this thoughts? And that's me, the soul, the spirit, the energy. So that's who I really am. And if I start to understand this more and more, can you see how much control I will start to have itself? But when I see that I'm this body, then I'm completely almost like a slave, to everything that's changing within the body. And I'm looking at others and also seeing them as cars and not the drivers. Just go and speak to a car and not the driver and see what response you get. But that's exactly what we are doing every single day, to myself and to others. So we see them as the car. So we see them as the body. And so this color, this height, this weight, this religion, this country, this everything is connected with the body. And we see them as that. And then we speak to them like that. And we expect that they will respond in a certain way. And they don't, because they're not that. Yeah? And it's the same way with me. When somebody says to me, speaks to me as though identifying myself as the body, I get hurt and I take it personally because I think I am this, right? But when I really understand that I am not this, that I am a soul, I am this being of light, it makes a world of difference. And we were saying this even the last session, even if you can take away this one lesson and practice and experience it, your life will change beyond your imagination. Because this is the foundation. And more than ever, we are facing the identity crisis than anything else in today's world. And all of the other crises is because of this identity crisis, if we can boldly say that, right? Because all the wars that we have, everything is in the name of what? in the name of religion, in the name of, country, in the name of whatever, even gender, and it's in the name of all of this, and all of that is connected to what? The body, right? So simply understanding that I am this point of light, and we talk about the center of the forehead as the seat of the soul. Inside the brain, the center of the forehead, right? And some people say, why not the heart? But really speaking, the driver sits where the controls are, right? And the controls are in the brain. And also this place is, we know it's kind of the memorial of the soul being inside there is there in all religions. We apply a tilak, or we, in all religions, even Christianity, they pray like this, starts from here. The Muslims say like this. So our hands go to our head when we are thinking. So meaning, I, the soul, I'm sitting there. And they say that eyes are the windows of the soul, right? We've heard that. So we cannot see the soul with these two eyes, but we can certainly experience that this was who I am. So right in the middle, center of the forehead, inside the brain. Like how you see a tiny star from here, the star from here is seen as very, very tiny, just like a point of light, sparkling light. That is my form. A tiny spark of light. Just for a moment, digest that. This is who I am. A tiny point of life energy, light. And then I sit in this body and I'm making this body move. Right? So this body is my instrument. Is it making sense so far? Yeah. Yeah. You're finding out about yourself.
That's a one good example, sister. When we call an auto man, auto, we call it auto. Then when the auto comes, the man leap out of the auto and talk to us, but we call the auto, not the man. So that same way, like in our body also, we call the name, but there's a one person inside, but it doesn't leap out of it. So that's a good example of the soul and the body as well.
Yeah.
So if you all have any question, please do ask.
Yeah. So, yeah, whether you call an auto or a taxi or whatever. But even otherwise, we generally, just day before yesterday, I was coming into our car park and I saw this car and I couldn't see the person, of course, because, either the windows are dark or whatever, but they very kindly waited for me to go in. And I just looked at them and I smiled. But obviously I wasn't smiling at the car. I mean, that's what I did. But inside I know that I'm smiling at the person who's sitting inside the car, even though I couldn't see them with these eyes, but I know the person is there, and that is the one who made the car stop for me. So it's the same way, we look at the body, and because we see with these eyes, we think they are that, and it's so deeply ingrained within us. We keep moving with this consciousness. This is who we are, and this is who everybody is. But once I start to just get into this understanding, I am this light, and everybody else is also light. And that light is what is eternal. That's the main thing. The body is perishable, but that light, the soul, is imperishable, eternal. That means I go from one body to another body. The body is perishes, but I stay and eternal. And that makes a huge difference to how we feel who we are and to our security and our feelings of fear of loss, all of this. Can you see? This is a big thing, no? Death is a big thing in today's times. But if I really understand I'm this eternal soul and so is everybody else, then it starts to make a huge difference. And one of the other things that's key in understanding about the soul is, once I understand that I'm this light, the next thing that makes our life very, very beautiful is understanding my original qualities. What are my original qualities? Like, how you have air is cool, and generally that's its quality, original quality is cool, and water is again flowing and cool, and you have fire which is hot and light. There's some original qualities to every element. In the same way, we have original qualities as souls, and these help us to live our lives the way we want to. So what are these qualities? What do we want in life? Why are we doing what we want? Why are we doing whatever we are doing? It's either for peace, love, happiness, right? Isn't that why we're doing whatever we're doing? You can say money, but money also for what? If you do why do you want that? Why do you want? Ultimately, it'll come to this. So I can sit at home peacefully, or I can be happy. Whatever. We feel these are the things or relationships that will bring us happiness, that will bring us peace. But really speaking, we are looking for it because that's who we are. So we talk about the 5 qualities of the soul: peace, love, happiness, purity, and wisdom. You remember these? Peace, love, happiness, purity, and wisdom. Because these are what we're looking for outside, in nature, in relationships, in worship places. We look for these because we have forgotten how to access them inside. Make sense? So, how to access them inside? As I start to see myself as this soul, as this point of light, then I would slowly be able to experience the I am peace, I am love, I am happiness. Yeah.
Sister, can I ask one thing?
Yeah.
But what about the surrounding that's going around you, which is really upsetting? How to find the light that you can still be happy with the things going around you?
Yeah.
I can't find that. It's just unbearable to find that when the things are not going right and back to back, you're just getting uneven, unexpected things in your lives.
Yeah, we're coming to that. So, so what's happening is this. Because we have come very far away from ourselves, right? From inside, we have come completely outside. And so what happens is that very quickly we start to get influenced by what is happening outside. We look for what we want outside, but also we get influenced with what is happening outside. because we have now not the master. So we've lost energy. It's like the battery is discharged. And so we get very quickly influenced. But also now the understanding is that whatever I need is within me, and I can create peace. I can create happiness. I can create love. You see, there's a situation, right? Let's take some day-to-day situations. Not the so much worldly situations is what's going on, but just day-to-day situations. And there may be somebody saying something, maybe the boss says something to people. Will both of them not necessarily react in the same way? Right? There'll be different reactions, correct? Usually, according to how they are. So one person will probably say, no, it's okay. We understand how they are and let's just move on. Another person will get so affected by it, so influenced by it, and they can't sleep, they make that, it's a big thing for them. Now, it's the same situation, but different responses by two people. So is it the situation or the person? Do you see where I'm getting? What we're trying to say is this, that if we want to, we can still create peaceful thoughts, happy thoughts, because it is within us. And we will understand more things, like when you understand karma, when you understand a bit more of how to heal what has happened inside and with others, you will see that it is possible. Because what I'm thinking, if I'm creating a peaceful thought, that's creating a vibration of peace. Yes? Now this is how does a place become peaceful? How does a place become peaceful? How does a place have those violent vibrations? You go into a room which has just had a very hot fight. You can feel, you can feel in the vibrations. When you go to a funeral place, you can feel the sorrow, right? Or just in a theater or in front of a TV, there's something going on in the TV that somebody's crying or something. And then you also get affected. If it's 2-3 people, right? Getting affected. And so which means how is this created? Through our thinking, through our thoughts. So if I can even just take one step of creating a peaceful thought, of creating a happy thought, creating a loving thought, I'm making a difference in the atmosphere. And we will learn more as to how to understand why all these why questions will be answered. And also how we can heal ourselves. That also we will learn, to charge ourselves. But for now, if I understand that if my response is also going to be negative, I'm going to be adding to the negativity more. So let me create positive, peaceful thoughts. Is it making sense? What I'm creating inside, I'm responsible for it. No matter what is happening outside. Whatever I'm creating is, I can do it. I'm responsible for it. So if I have this understanding that I am this being of light, and these are my original qualities, I can be that driver who's woken up and drive, meaning I can create what I want to create. If I'm asleep, it's like going in autopilot. I'll have the same kind of reactions. I'll have the same kind of responses. But now it's like I can wake up and do it. So far, good? I hope that answered a little bit of your question. As we do more sessions, you'll understand more. There was a story that we mentioned in last session. I think that was useful. The algae story about how, the king has a beautiful diamond, and then the diamond is lost and they're looking for it. And there's a pond that is covered with algae. And as they remove the algae, they find the diamond there. So which means that we are all diamonds. All of our souls have our original qualities of peace, love, happiness, and all of that. But over time, because of the actions we've performed, and because mainly we've forgotten that we are souls, this algae has formed on top. But we are not that algae. That's not our original nature. So what is the algae? We call it as an acronym: anger, lust, greed, attachment, and ego. But that is not our original qualities because we don't want any of that. Do we want to be angry? Do we want to be sad? No. But those have come on top of our original qualities. And so as we understand who we are, the points of light, the souls, we can access these qualities. So I'm just going to share the PowerPoint I shared last week. So you can see the screen. So yeah, we talked about being the lighthouse. You know how the lighthouse is in the middle of all of these storms and yet being able to stand up. So this is how we see ourselves, right? As the bodies. But then now you see as souls. And Adit was sharing this, I think, that to be able to see each one like this as a point of light, but first of all, to see myself as that point of light. And in meditation, how it works is I'm able to visualize that point of light that I am. Like how you can visualize anything, no? Can you visualize the sky? You can visualize something green, So in the same way, if you can visualize the point of light on the screen of your mind, and the more I focus on that, the more I will start to experience myself as that point of light, and it starts to become easier. And keep doing this during the day, and then you will see that it will start to become easier. Then we saw the 5 qualities, and all the other qualities are connected to this. And we saw how, because we've forgotten who we are, then there are layers that come up on top. So the layers is anger, desire or lust, greed, attachment, and ego. And understanding that really, when you don't have the peace, then there's anger. Or when there's less purity, then there's lust. When there's less happiness, then there's greed. They say when you're happy, you don't need to eat much. It is, this thing about when people are in sorrow, they eat a lot. And it is true, isn't it? So these are my original qualities. And the more I experience myself as the soul, as the light, I can experience my original qualities and that much easier. So love and attachment. Attachment is where I start to see, even in a relationship, the other one as any relationship, as mine. And so there are expectations. And then it's not spiritual love. It's just not true love. I mean, love is a very abused word today, but if you really think about it, attachment then gives sorrow. And then knowledge, and you have real, true knowledge, wisdom, then there's no ego. Otherwise, there is ego in the sense of we don't know who we are, and then either I think they have a superiority complex or an inferiority complex, and both are ego. And so, as I see myself as this point of light, as the soul, then these qualities within me I'm able to access: peace, purity, love, happiness. All of this is my true qualities. So in meditation, basically, I see myself as this light. And then as I go deeper within myself, I find these treasures of who I really am. And the more I experience this, the less I will expect this from others. Because I can find this within myself. And so my relationships will start to get better. And my own happiness will start to get more because I'm able to experience this for myself. Is it making sense? Yeah. So another aspect we're going to take up today is about the thoughts. So if I really understand how the mechanics of what is going on inside me, then I can quickly change what I need to change. For example, like respiratory system or the circulatory system or the digestive system. If I know how it works, right? When something goes wrong, I know how to correct it, right? So what is happening inside of me? So now I'm coming away from this body. This is, okay, this is an identity that keeps changing, I understand. Now I'm this point of light. But also to understand what is going on inside of me. And here we talk about the three faculties of the soul, or the three subtle sense organs. So we know these 5 sense organs of the body, right? So that is the physical sense organ. But there are 3 subtle sense organs in the body, which is called as mind, intellect, and sanskars. We're going to look at all 3 of them. So this is the anatomy of the soul. How I, the soul, work. You want to know how you work? It's interesting, isn't it? To know what's going on inside of me. So what are the things happening inside? Can you share a few things? What's going on inside? What's happening inside of you? This is making you think. What happens inside?
Overthinking.
Overthinking, okay. What is happening inside? What are you doing all day inside?
Ruminating, remembering, and instead of being in the present, sort of planning for the future. Yeah.
Anything else? Anyone?
Thinking about the future. It has not come yet.
Yeah. And many other things. And as we talk about it, you will see. So we're talking about 3 aspects: the mind, intellect, and sanskars, right? So the mind is a faculty, or it's an energy, or the potential of the soul, where there are thoughts, feelings, desires. All of these are in this part of the soul, that is mind. So thinking, thoughts. And mind is an excellent tool of the soul, because through mind you can travel. You can travel to the past, you can travel to the future, right? The mind can take you to so many different places in 1 second. So the mind is a very, very beautiful tool of the soul, but how do we use it is what is important. So mind is, we can say there are 4 main categories of thoughts. Positive, negative, necessary thoughts, and then the 4th one, any guess? Waste thoughts. So tell me, how much time do we spend in positive thinking, negative thinking, necessary thinking, and wasteful thinking? Because why this is so important? Thoughts are food for the soul. You can say this body is like how we need food for the body to function. In the same way, the food for the soul, the soul, are thoughts. So what type of thoughts am I creating all day? Sometimes it's hard to tell what thoughts, but we can tell what feelings, right? If I asked you, how was your day from morning till now? Like, you can say how your feelings, because thoughts and feelings are related. You have a thought, then you have a feeling with that thought. And so, pure thoughts, positive thoughts, help the soul to nourish. There's nourishing food. Negative thoughts, not good. We know that. Negative means, you understand by negative, right? Critical, revengeful. They can have a very different, varying degrees of negativity. But these waste thoughts is like junk food. Junk food are tasty, but do they give you any nutrition? No. And you can keep nibbling on the junk food all day, more and more and more of junk food. It only makes it worse after a while. So waste thoughts are like that. Totally not necessary for me. Totally no need to think. But yet I keep, having these waste thoughts. So even if I just completely focus on my thinking all day and just see if I can keep to positive, pure thinking, I will see it has a huge difference in my life, in my outlook, and in the soul, the health of the soul. Yeah. So wasteful thinking is something that I don't need to think about right now. It's not necessary. And sometimes somebody was talking about the past. We think of the past unnecessarily. We think of the future, no need for now. Or we think about others. Or just wasteful thinking because I am not using my mind in a good way. I just let it run. My eyes go somewhere, I start to think about it. My ears hear something, I start to think about it. Yes? So I just let my mind just run here and there and there and there and there. I'm not giving it the right direction. So wasteful thinking then makes the soul weak. No energy. By the end of the day, we feel I'm tired now. See, it has an effect. What we think has a direct effect on the body. Yes or no? Who agrees? So now the driver is woken up and can direct what thoughts I need to think. And when another thought comes of anger or something else, then can I change it? I can change it because now I know who I am, the soul, so I can change my thinking. I can start to think truth, that I'm a peaceful soul, and so is another. And because it's very important to understand this, that whatever thought I'm thinking is creating a vibration in the atmosphere. Can you see that? It creates a vibration. And that vibration creates an atmosphere, whether you want it or not. You know, sometimes somebody comes to you and then they are saying something, but you feel something else from them. Have you had that experience? Yeah. Meaning what they are thinking is what is reaching you more than what they are saying, right? So even for your own self, you might be saying something, but you're thinking something else, and that is what is reaching to another person. So this vibration is hugely important. So if somebody is saying something and is creating negative vibration or wasteful vibration, can I change it and create positive, pure vibrations? Because that will help. That help the other person, that will help the atmosphere. And usually if somebody is saying negative, we also want to do what? We want to respond with negativity, but that's not going to help. It only adds up to the negativity. Unfortunately, it's only in mathematics that the minus and minus add up to a plus, right? It's only increases minus when we do negative. So now being the master, the soul that is woken up, I can now create positive, pure thoughts. So when I'm able to create positive, pure thoughts, then I'm able to feel that and also change the atmosphere. So it's very, very important. You know, we often do this lemon exercise. I'm not going to do the exercise now, but I'll just share, like, you know, if you visualize things in your mind, it's so real for the body, whether it's happening or not. You know, you imagine you have a very juicy lemon in your fridge, in your refrigerator. You go and open the refrigerator, you take the lemon out, you squeeze, you cut it into half, and you take one half of the lemon and you squeeze it into your mouth. A few drops of lemon falls into your mouth, you know. And as you really visualize this, what happens is you start to feel the saliva in your mouth, right? You notice that? So meaning just visualizing can actually make it real. So which means that my mind is so powerful. And it's not something it's even proven, even in research, like when something is happening, actually happening, you know, when you look at they put all these things on the brain, some parts of the brain lit up. And when you're just thinking about it, it's not actually happening, but you're just thinking about it. And still the same parts of the brain lit up, which means that you don't, there's no difference between whether it's happening or not. What you're thinking is very real for the soul. So that much impact the thoughts have for the soul. Yeah? Making sense so far? So really the practice is to pay attention to my thoughts and to change them. Whenever I see that I'm feeling something different, I'm feeling uncomfortable, what did I just think to make me feel that? Just ask yourself, what did I just think to make me feel that? And to change that thought. Yeah? And then intellect is making decisions. This is right, this is wrong. Understanding power, capacity, the conscience of the soul. And then the third one is sanskars. Sanskars is, my original sanskars is that of peace, love, happiness, wisdom, and all of that. And the more I use it, the more it becomes my own. But how do these sanskars get created is through action. Habits. Sanskars are habits, grooves, impressions, many different words, but we use just one word called a sanskar, but many different meaning to it. So let's take this example, right? You're walking on the road, and we did this last session about the mind, intellect, sanskars. No, we did.
We didn't do this.
Okay, so you're walking on the road, and you see a dog, and it's okay. It seems fine, but it happens to bite you. And so you go through all this pain and all of that for a few months. And then after 3 months, you're walking on another road and you see another dog. What's the thought you have? You have a thought? What's the thought you have?
That it's going to bite you.
Yeah. And then then your intellect says, okay, either you stay there, or you move away and you go to another road. So there's a decision to make. And suppose you say, okay, I'm going to go to another road, leave. Then I'm actually strengthening the fear, isn't it? And the fear of dogs starts to become more. And so if I keep doing that again and again and again and again, so there'll come a point in time, perhaps, when I just hear the word dog, I will start to have feelings of fear. But when I say that, no, it's okay, this is another road, this is another situation, it's fine, no problem, and I just walk by, then what happens? That sanskar is not created of fear, right? So this is how every habit develops. So I have a thought, and then I decide, and then if I do the action, that's how the sanskar is created. Make sense so far? Yeah. So any habit, whether it's good or whether it's positive or whether it's negative, that's how it is. So if I have a thought of getting angry, or if I have a thought of something, and I then decide, no, I'm going to respond peacefully, I'm going to respond lovingly. So the sanskars that I'll be creating is going back to my original sanskar. We often give this example of a glass of dirty water. How do you make a glass of dirty water clean without pouring it out? So you hold it under a tap of flowing clean water, right? So in the same way, as I start to create positive, pure thoughts, then my conscience then tells me, okay, let me change this, let me not do the same thing. And then I respond with positivity, respond with love. Those sanskars start to change. Make sense? So, any questions? I'm going to share again, just to see this as visual. Sometimes it helps to see it and visually what we've just discussed. So we talked about mind, intellect, sanskars, and these are the things, right? Mind thinks, feels, imagines, and intellect analyzes, compares, judging, discerns, remembers. And then sanskars is impressions or sanskars, memories, personality traits. emotional tendencies, all of these are sanskars in the soul. And so this is how it works. So this is who I am, the soul. And this is, you can say, the mind, the conscious mind. And then the intellect decides, and then I perform certain actions, and then that is stored. The more often I do it, is stored as sanskars, it's also called the subconscious mind in the soul. And because of what is stored in me, the experiences, that's how I also get sometimes the thoughts. So, but it is me, the soul, who's creating the thoughts. Yeah. And so this is who I am, the soul. Now I understand that I'm a soul, then I can change my thinking. I can see what my intellect is deciding. I can change that, and I can change what I do. So my sanskars go back to my original sanskars of love, peace, and happiness. Does it make sense so far?
Do you all get the point? What is sanskars? Mayu, do you know what is sanskar?
Is it sort of conditioning, some sort of conditioning where if you like pattern of behavior, thinking, thoughts, and then feelings, but if you're aware, you can try and change that if you've got an inner awareness of who you really are?
Yeah, so these are the experiences that we store as impressions in the soul, right? But the original qualities of the soul are the original sanskars. Peace, love, happiness. That's my original sanskar, which is what is the impressions in the soul. But over time, as we do actions, as we perform actions, other experiences then sit on top of it. And this is why we said about the fear of the dog, because of the experiences we've had and the actions we've performed, the other sits on top. So the anger and the fear and tendencies in the soul. This is, sometimes, but then we say when we have a deeper instinct of peace and love, that is deeper, and that instinct sometimes is right. But when we're just giving in to our tendencies just straight away, then we are not thinking. So this is when the driver is asleep, And so this is, we give an example like how we have a thought and our conscience says something to us, but we override our conscience and we do something. We do that sometimes. I have a thought and then they say, no, it's okay. It's only one time with my friends. It's fine. We override. They say, no, this is not good for you. This is no. Say, no, it's fine. So 2 times, 3 times, the conscious voice gets lower and lower. And then one time I have a thought and I go straight into action. And so what happens then? Sometimes we say, don't they have any conscience? How can they do something like this? But over a period of time, I have overridden my conscience that it does not speak anymore, or it's just become autopilot. This is why we say. And we say, this is how I am from my childhood. This is my nature. No? But this is not my nature, the negative things, right? That's over time that I've developed on top of my original nature of positivity. And so now with this Raja Yoga, I'll be cleaning my mind, pure and positive thoughts, empowering the intellect so that the conscience wakes up and I'm able to say, come back to what is truth. And then perform actions. The sanskars are transformed into my original sanskars. So cleaning the mind, empowering the intellect, and transforming sanskars. Now, this is what Raj Yoga does. When I, the soul, become the master and I start to do this. Making sense? Yeah? So you understand what sanskars? My original sanskars is of peace, of love, of happiness. And that is what I want to go back to. But over time, other sanskars have come on top of it. The tendency, the emotion there.
Sister Red, sorry to interrupt you. You mentioned, every thought can have a positive, if you have a positive thought, it can impact the environment, the atmosphere. If one that's just in the early stages of trying to be aware of your thoughts and change your atmosphere, would being around people that are maybe not aware, could that influence you?
Yes, definitely. That's why the more I practice this, the more I become stronger. And we'll also look at in the next session about connecting to the Supreme and, how we can charge ourselves and heal ourselves. That also we will see. But definitely the more I practice myself that I'm a soul, I'm a being of light in the morning and evening, I'm learning to touch base with my own peace and express that. And so there's less influence. And also my expectations from outside start to reduce. Now tell me, will you say this person hurt me? Is that true or false?
False.
Why is it false? They said something and so they hurt me. It's true? No? Why is it true?
More than just the I'm more than just the car, and and if I can get in touch with my sanskar, is that the word? If I'm aware of it and I can keep practicing the 5 sort of instincts and be aware of those, I can come to terms with who I really am. And if that person, I see them as a being of light, I'll be able to then be more forgiving and understanding of me. They might just be ignorant to what they've done.
Very good. Yeah. Adit, you want to say anything to that?
I was going to say something. It's kind of slipped out of my mind.
Okay, we'll see when it comes back.
Yeah, when it comes back, I'll say it.
Yeah, I'm just asking the ones who are on the video, but anybody else, please feel free to share who's not on the video.
Mary, you will speak, and other people in Radhika, Rohit, Lindsay. The first time you all here, please.
So, you're very right, and that you've got it. That's good. But also when we say they hurt me, it's like they said something that's from their end. But what am I doing with it is completely what I am doing inside of me, right? If I can really understand this, then I can stay peaceful and contribute to the peace around me, right? And yes, all of this is important that, okay, I won't take it personally because I know who I really am now, and all of that. But also it means that I have now the choice, and I know that I can choose to think what I want to think, what I want to feel, right? So that's being the master. And also and knowing that anything from outside is temporary. We talked about this last time. And this is also important to understand. Okay, you go to holiday, you go to nature, you go to worship place, you go to in relationships, expecting love and respect and happiness and peace has become a norm. Because we're looking for these things outside of us. And perhaps we do receive them, but it's temporary. But once I know and I can access what is inside of me, then I will know that I can also express that outside, and my expectations will also come less. And I'll be taking responsibility, very importantly, for my own thoughts and feelings, because I can change it. No? Otherwise, we'll always be a slave to something or the other people, situations. So, we've heard of this, that, okay, it's all in my attitude. but how to change it? But now I know that I'm a soul and these are my original qualities. It's like the driver is waking up and going back to truth. The truth is that I'm a peaceful soul. That's why Om Shanti, when we say Om, I'm a soul and Shanti is on peace. So Om Shanti actually means I'm a peaceful soul. And when I say that to myself and to another, it means the other person is also a peaceful soul. A diamond. Only now we've forgotten who they are. And over time, because of the actions, the anger has developed, the lust has come, the greed has come. But the diamond is still there. And if I can still see that diamond even in another person, you see what I'm doing? I'm giving them an opportunity to see themselves. You're asking that question, right? How I can help another. Like this. For me to see myself as that. And then to see another. I'll give you an example of how youngsters, because mostly young people here. So we used to do some service in the prisons. Go to prisons and do service there. And serve means share these kind of knowledge with them. And there was this brother who went to the prison and he was doing a workshop with them. And he just said, okay, all of you take out a paper and pen and write your good qualities. What do you think is good in you? You write them. So they're all writing, and there were two young lads who were not writing anything and just sitting quietly. And so he went to them and he said, what happened? Are you not writing anything? And they said, well, we don't think we have anything good in us. I mean, to come to a state of not seeing anything good in the self. I mean, to be part of that society, we've created that kind of a society where, we've come to that, where some people are there who think there's nothing good in them. So,
they have got a good quality, but honest. They said they don't.
They said, we are able to see, but they're not able to. That's the thing. For them to be able to see. So this is what it is. That we think, and we sometimes succumb to anger, we succumb to in other people, but anger is a sign of pain. Any of those vices, you see, all those vices, anger, lust, greed, those are all sign of emptiness in the soul, of pain in the soul. So if we understand this really, then I will be able to see them as souls, as peaceful beings, loving beings, and to see the diamond, first of all in me and them also. And then you will see the difference. So this week, we're going to have a little meditation before we finish, a short one. But this week, this is what we will do, right? The whole week, morning and evening meditation. Make time. Wake up 15 minutes earlier than what you normally do, so you're not rushing. And night, before you go to bed, the last thing you do. So 10 to 15 minutes of what we're going to practice now, you do that. Okay? Put it in your timetable that you will not miss this and you will do it. And then the second thing is during the day, as much as possible to see yourself as that point of light. Start from looking at the mirror, like how Adit was saying. You will always look at the mirror at least a few times in a day, and to see that point of light, not with these eyes, but just that light that I am, reminding myself I'm that. And then when I see everybody else, also to see that energy and to speak to them that way. So I am that being of light, and so is another. And keep saying this to yourself during the day, Om Shanti, which means I'm a peaceful soul, and so is another. And so during the day, keep bringing this. And notice any habits, because we have one whole week. Notice any habits that have come up, and if you can change them, or even just note down one habit that you want to change, whether it's internal or external. And see if you can change it by being that master, that soul that you are. Okay? Okay, so let's have the meditation now. Somebody has sent the number on the chat. Bye.
Okay, thanks. Lindsay.
Okay, wonderful. Right. So let's have a meditation now. So meditation is a simple one where we channel or direct our mind to experience our own true self. Okay, very simply. So you can even keep your eyes open. This is called as open-eyed meditation. It's not about staring anything in the front, just like how you daydream. Just half open your eyes and just I will share my own thoughts and you can experience that inside. So sit comfortably. And relax completely. Just for the next 2-3 minutes, I don't have to go anywhere, I don't have to do anything. Just completely relax. Totally relax. From head to toe, just check the whole body is relaxed. Whatever you're doing, stop doing for the next 2-3 minutes. Just sit down and relax. Just totally relax and take a deep breath. And let go of any tension you might be holding on to. Just let go. And the body sometimes also holds the tension. So let go of the tension totally. Taking slow, deep breaths. The body is relaxed. And in this relaxed state, I'd like to go on an inner journey. A journey to meet myself. For this, I focus on the center of my forehead. And on the screen of my mind, I visualize a tiny point of light. Like a star, really tiny spark of light. Bring this image in your mind. A tiny spark of light sparkling away, shining away. In between the eyes, the center of the forehead, just behind. This is my true form. This body is perishable and separate from me, and I, the soul, the being of light, am eternal and the master. I am the living being. I use this body to see, to hear, to do actions, to speak, but I'm separate from this body. So now my complete attention is on this true form of mine, the point of light. And as I focus totally on myself, I can go deeper and experience peace. Peace is my true nature. Peace is my own treasure. Peace is my original quality. In fact, I am peace. I am love. I am joy. Rays of peace radiate from me, filling this body and healing this body. Rays of peace radiate into this room and out into the world. As I become aware of who I truly am, I'm able to experience my own true qualities, and then I can express them through this body in my actions and interactions. So I keep coming back to this awareness. I am a peaceful being. I am a peaceful soul. And whomever I see the light. I see who they are, the light, the peaceful being, the diamond in the forehead. Om Shanti. Om, I am a soul. Shanti, I am peace. I am a peaceful soul. Om Shanti.